Oh, hello there. This is my sim rig, obviously, and I decided to do a rig tour because, well, mainly because iRacing was down at the time of this recording. I was like, so this is the SimLab GT1 Evo, and I'm gonna go through some of the add-ons and mods, I guess. The most obvious one is the feet from the P1X. I got these. The main reason, or I guess the main reason I got these is because I saw a picture of someone putting these on the Evo, and I think it looks great. But the main advantage is actually that racing the cockpit makes it a lot more immersive. Obviously easier to get in and out, but it's more like sitting down in a low car compared to plopping down on the floor without the feet. So massively recommended. And then we have the keyboard tray. It's big. It's very big, weirdly, but fine. We have the button box arm, which is also fine. The only negative thing here is it's missing that plastic thing at the end. And being, I wouldn't say weird, but it's an unusual diameter compared to everything else on the rig. I don't have a spare one. So, well, it's not a big problem, but it's it's pretty easy to get one of these plastic covers. But it's negative that it didn't come with it. And then we have the mouse tray. It's just a metal plate, fine. And onto the PC tray, I guess, or PC shelf. It's I don't know. It makes me uneasy looking at this thing with the heavy computer on top. It's I don't know. It's just something about it. I don't trust it. It's super rigid. That's not it's not my problem. But it's something about having a massively heavy thing hanging in the air like that. So I I added a couple of corner brackets on the underside. Weirdly, I guess, I also got 3 extra mounting points, which is just 2 pieces of profile. And I used one of them on the what I consider to be the only true negative or weakness with the GT1. The shifter arm is just one piece of 8040 sticking out, so I mean, you can't mount any heavy duty shifters without inducing flex, I don't think. So I moved both pieces to the outside of the rig to get some more space between the seat and the shifter mount itself. And obviously another advantage of doing this is that you stiffen the whole rig. Although I'm not sure that's needed, but you know. And then I took 2 of the I only used 2 of the profiles from the other 2 extra mounting points, and I mounted them in the front on the short stubby ones for the pedal deck. And again, this is not needed, but going back to the PC shelf and the heavy computer on top of it, it stiffens the whole wheel deck. The triple screen mount is made by Prosimrig. It's like any other triple screen mount. I think it's a Danish company. At least when I ordered this screen mount, it was shipped from Denmark. But I think they made some strange exclusive deal with a British company. So all their parts are now shipped from the UK. And I initially planned on getting one of their rigs because I like this triple screen mount. But I didn't want to go through all the Brexit thing and all that, so that's why I went with SimLab. This one also got the feet. I don't actually know why I ordered the feet. I don't remember. But like with the rig, I am happy I did because it makes it super easy to clean. Yeah, they're great, or it's great. The most important thing with any screen mount, especially a triple one, is beefy hardware in the hinges or the joints where the arms stick out, and that gives you straight screens, and this one definitely has that. As for the screens themselves, they are Lenovo Legion 27-inch. Pretty good screens, probably the best screens I've had. 165 Hz, 1 millisecond IPS, 1440p. 1440p triple can be an issue. So I'm looking forward to upgrading the GPU at some point. This is my seat. It's a Sparco Evo, and I like it a lot. It's a perfect fit for me, which is pure luck because I just ordered one. I can't buy one locally. And it turns out I'm a 31-inch waist. Turns out racing drivers are not very big because the seat could not be smaller. It fits me like like a sock almost. So my one and only issue with it is that it gets hot. So I installed some fans to solve that. But yeah, it's a good seat. I mean, it's super expensive, I think, but good. The wheel is the Fanatec DD1. And this is to me this was a really positive surprise and a big upgrade over the CSL Elite I used to have. I got this wheel because I wanted more power mainly, but I didn't expect there to be so much more detail. I mean, I've read about it, but I didn't really believe that it was such a big difference. But yeah, this is a big upgrade over a belt-driven wheel. And I now have the advanced paddle module, which again is a big upgrade over the shifters on the McLaren wheel. And obviously the podium hub and the Porsche GT3R replica wheel, super wheel. I mean, it's so, again, comparing it to the McLaren wheel, it's just a lot nicer and more expensive. And weirdly to some, I guess, I'm using the Club Sport button pods, because I realized when using the McLaren wheel, which has, I don't know, 100,000 buttons and rotaries and stuff, that I was just using 5 or 6 buttons. I think actually 5. This is just habit, because I'm so used to just taking my right hand off the wheel and grabbing a rotary on the button box. So I never actually used the rotaries or the many buttons on the McLaren wheel. And here we have the emergency stop, which costs way too much for what it is. But it's also sadly very handy, so I don't regret buying it, because when I first got the DD1, I was laughing at the power, obviously, because I had it, like most people, turned up way too much. And I was driving around Bathurst and I hit a curb, and the force actually ripped the wheel out of my hands. And I was using the McLaren wheel at the time, where your thumbs are kind of trapped inside the top holes. And the instinct is to grab the wheel, and I shouldn't have done that. And I hurt my thumb, and I couldn't drive for a couple of days. So yeah, I haven't experienced the wheel going bananas, starting to wildly spin on its own. So, but if it does, it would be really handy to have a emergency stop, because you cannot catch it safely, at least. And also it's a big plus that I can start the wheel from the front, so I don't blindly, you know, fumble around on the back of the wheelbase. The Elgato Stream Deck. I mean, everybody has one of these, and that is probably why I have one. It's fairly new. I haven't really started using it much, but I can see the potential and it looks nice. So at some point it's probably going to be a very handy button box. And here we have the old button box, the old warhorse. This thing has been used for so many hours. It's an old DSD button box, works great. It doesn't look as good as current button boxes, I guess, and it flexes a lot in the where you attach it to the button box arm, the plastic itself. But I can't really notice when I'm driving, so I think yeah, I like this a lot. And onto the pedales. These are Heusinkveld, who knows, Sprints. And I came from the Fanatec V3 pedals, so it's a big upgrade. I wouldn't say they are twice as good, despite being twice the money, but they are absolutely better. I love the brake. I didn't do anything to the brake. Straight from the box, I just instantly, yep, like this. I did soften the throttle. I don't like a stiff throttle. And I love the software. I mean, when you open it, you see immediately that this is something that's going to be useful. But the best part to me is ergonomics and the adjustment possibilities. You can basically do anything on these, get them to any position. Or so the only thing I've done is I changed the rake, because I like the pedals to be more or less vertical, stabby, and that's super easy. It's just one bolt, and well, the brake is not super easy, but easy enough. And they also have very good customer service. I mean, it's not good that I had to immediately use customer service, because mine had the I think it's a well-known problem that at least the internet tells me, that the screws or the bolts for the pedal plates are tightened too much, and they use a really tiny hex. So when you try to loosen them, you just end up stripping the bolts, ruining the Allen key, etc. And that's what I did. I mean, I could get the clutch and the brake. I just barely got those off. But the throttle pedal, I actually had to bring it to a mechanic I know to get it off. And he was not impressed. But they sent me a new hardware super quick, no problem. So, I mean, it was annoying, but it's really good that when dealing with a company, that if something goes wrong, they just snap, give you the stuff you need immediately. This is the computer I use. It is a big tower. Well, it's not a big tower, but it's a big meaty tower, I guess. It's super wide and super heavy, and it's made by a company. I can't remember, but it's good. It's really well sound insulated, and inside is a AMD Ryzen 5800X, 32 gigabyte of something fast RAM, and my old RTX 2080, because reasons. Here's a USB hub. It's a TP-Link, and I love it. And the main reason, or the only reason I love it, is that it works. because USB hubs have a tendency to be as reliable as, I don't know, 80s Italian cars. But this one from TP-Link, big thumbs up. I only have the non-important stuff connected to it. A couple of mice, some keyboards. Is it mice? A couple of mouses. two times mouse and 2 times keyboard. And that's it. This is my rig and I like it. It's pretty good. Pretty good.